Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Tuesday Talks with Ashley Hannah and Angelo Datseris, where we talk about the latest headlines and real estate news in the real estate industry. So while I'm waiting for everyone to hop on and Angelo to get on, as always, feel free to drop any questions in the comment section below, and we will both be reading those as we are going through the show today. And we appreciate you all for being here. Hey, girl. And a lot of interesting things are kind of transpiring as the election results are becoming more clear, updates with the coronavirus vaccine and things like that. So we're going to have a lot to talk about today. And I'm waiting for Angela to hop on. Come on, technology. Angelo. All right, I just sent him a request. We're having some technical difficulties here.
Hey, there we go. What's going on?
Hey there, how's it going?
Oh, just trying to get connected over here.
I was like, hello?
Yeah, so what's going on?
Well, I think, it's just been, this week is always interesting. And I think too, some interesting things we're gonna see more news hit the industry soon, basically because there's a vaccine, right? And it looks like there's some more clarity around election results. So I think that's going to drive some activity towards the end of the year.
Yeah, for sure. And the new conforming loan limit. Did you see that info that I sent you?
Yes.
This morning?
So I think that's good for you to talk about.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's actually being announced at 1:00, which is right now. What the actual loan limit's going to be, but it's estimated to be 548,220, just based on some of the numbers that what they normally use to reevaluate the conforming loan limit. So
what does that mean exactly?
So currently the loan limit is 510,400 for conventional loans.
Okay.
So
that's how much you could borrow?
That's the maximum loan amount that you can get for a conventional financing before it goes jumbo. So it's not based on the sales price, of course. So the sales price is a bit higher than the down payment. So in order to keep your loan amount conforming versus jumbo, right now it's 510,400, and it's proposed to be 548,220. So yeah, that's a good little bump. Good little bump for some, some people that are kind of right in that little sweet spot for conventional and or jumbo. And a lot of times too, the way that I like to, because jumbo guidelines, they're a lot more aggressive to get financing for jumbo loans. So
what aggressive meaning? Like you have to have a higher credit score?
Higher credit score. There's more documentation requirements, more asset reserve requirements, stuff like that. So so you always want to keep it in that, if you can, to keep it in that conventional loan limit area, which is 510.4. So if you have a loan that's, let's say, 625, I split it up. we can do 2 loans. So you do 1 loan at 80% loan to value, and then do a second mortgage behind it up to like 90 or 95% if you can find it. And so that'll kind of get you where you need to be to keep you conventional, and you just have a small, home equity line of credit behind that first mortgage, or a fixed line of credit. So it's a way to kind of circumvent the system, I guess, to not.
So
have
that's
to
how you like to keep things more in balance.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, of course, if it's $1.5 million in a sales price and they don't have 20% down, there's going to be some limitations to what that second mortgage can do.
Right.
But yeah, usually you can. Usually, I'm actually working with one right now. They're doing 80%. It's actually a 76% first, and a total of 89.99% for the combined loan to value with your first and second mortgage. And that's with a Pinnacle bank. They're doing up to 90%. There's some other banks that are doing there's like one credit union, Tower Financial. They're doing up to 100% combined loan to value.
Wow.
Yeah, that's strong. But they're like 60 days in underwriting, and they're kind of, hurry up and wait for that one.
A little dicey.
Yeah.
So, I think too, this kind of goes hand in hand with some news that kind of came out with the Department of Justice, basically, and the National Association of Realtors on buyer's agency compensation and
this morning.
Disclosure. Yeah. So, some of the things, basically the issue is, and what this this suit is claiming is that the current guidelines are that typically when a consumer is scrolling through an MLS, or they're on their agent's MLS or Zillow or whatever they're using, it doesn't disclose how much the buyer's agency compensation is being offered at. Because typically the sellers offer, they pay the selling agent, and then they offer a portion of that to the buyer's agent. And that is how the buyer's agent is traditionally compensated.
Right.
And those funds are distributed at closing. So one of the things I was reading about, I don't think disclosing the buyer's agency cooperation fee for a certain house, I don't see the issue there. I think that makes sense. I mean, that doesn't bother me. But I do think, there's been arguments that now people are going to question, I guess, the amounts that they're offering buyer's agents and who is responsible for paying that. And my question to you is, what kind of loan, like if I'm a buyer and I don't have a lot of money in the bank, but I have enough for, a 5% down payment, let's say, what kind of programs are available is there any programs available, rather, if the buyer all of a sudden becomes responsible for compensating the buyer's agent?
Ooh, no. No, there is nothing right now that is, because the percentage of the loan is going to be based on the sales price for the appraised value, the lesser of the two.
Yeah.
And the only loan program right now that pays for closing costs is USDA, where you can finance some of the closing costs into, if not all of the closing costs, into the actual loan, as long as the appraised value is a little bit more than the sales price.
Right.
Because they give you a little bit. I think it's like 102% is what they allow you to go up to for USDA. But for I didn't get that part of it. So it's interesting that you say that, because that could pose a huge problem.
Yeah.
For buyers to not only pay for the, historic, it's always been buyers are just paying for the down payment, where the seller pays for, the buyer's agent and the listing agent's, commissions. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, I think it's more of, it's a disclosure thing and creating more transparency. It seems to be what the goal is, because that is, we're trying to protect and educate and inform consumers always, right? So I don't know, I am not well versed in it enough. This is all very new information that's been released. So I think we're all just trying to learn a little bit about what it's going to mean. And I don't know exactly, I don't see there necessarily being a change in my perspective, because when I get a buyer client, I say, here's what my fee is. Traditionally, that amount is paid for by the sellers in what they are offering a cooperating brokerage, which would be me. And I'm compensated at closing, so you don't come out of pocket. And that could be negotiated any which way. There's tons of discount firms out there that offer rebates or whatever. I do end up I don't like to call out a discount brokerage for any reason, but to say that I am not a discount broker, when I feel like I do give a lot of discounts to my clients.
No, you do. You do. I mean, it's in discounts. I guess they can be. That's I mean, a loaded statement. I mean, just because you're not classified as a discount broker doesn't mean that you have paid for stuff, because you've paid for a lot of things in the transactions that we've done. So I mean, but that's just good business on your part.
Right. I mean, I just like to take care of my clients, and so how I'm compensated allows me to obviously use my compensation at my own,
discretion.
Correct.
Right.
So I don't know if people are thinking that buyers are going to now that they can see that information, they're going to try to use that in negotiating a sales price. I don't know.
Well, do you think that the takeaway that I was when I saw that this morning, the one takeaway that I saw is that because some agents can steer a borrower into or someone into a particular home that is offering the 3 or 6% or whatever, versus another house that's similar, in the same area, whatever, that they're only saying, no, we're only going to give 1%. So the agent now, that information is disclosed, so they can see that. So they can't, whereas prior to, and we've been doing this long enough to know, if an agent is not going to, if someone's selling their home and they're not going to give up any commission, do you think that agent's going to sell that house? No, they're not. So I think by doing that, it's going to, for some particular, not so much agencies, but I guess buyers, they're going to know, why aren't you showing me this house? Because it's got a lower commission for you, or so that I kind of like that. I agree. Kind of like,
because I think it's shady, right? That you are not showing a house, that you're steering your client in any way, especially when it's based on offered compensation. Now, I see compensations all over the board all the time in the MLS. I always show my clients everything that meets their criteria, regardless of the compensation offered. But I always make sure to disclose to my clients, here's the deal, just so you know, the compensation that they are offering me as your buyer's agent is X, right? I am willing to work with you here on this, but my fee is Y. So there's a middle ground, and how we decide to come to terms with that, I think it should be up to the agent and the consumer, right? Yeah. Because that's how good business works, and you're just transparent about the process. I did a poll on my stories on both Facebook and Instagram last week about, do you know how real estate agents are paid?
Wow, interesting. Right. Interesting. What was the common consensus?
So it was about half and half. So
was it?
Half the people didn't know how agents were paid, and the other half did. So that just means that I think I want to figure out some way to kind of educate, right? Educate the public, educate my clients, educate, people out there on what you can expect and how agents are paid. Because even when I got into the business, this is a little bit embarrassing to admit, but I didn't really even understand how. I was like, wait, how am I gonna, how do I make money again? But
right.
I do think that it's clunky. Like the communication of it is clunky. So I just think that anytime that you're bringing more transparency, it in my opinion, I don't see a downside to the consumer, who is the person we're always trying to protect.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this since for really cracking down in 2010 when the SAFE Act came around. It was like, before you could get paid in mortgages, you could get, the origination, but then you could also get YSP, or yield spread premium. And then in 2010, after the SAFE Act cracked down, they got rid of that, and now it's only one of two ways. It's either I get paid by the borrower or I get paid by the lender. Either or. Yeah. There's not both. And I mean, we're capped. I mean, total points and fees in North Carolina, and that's just not just my fees, but lender fees is like 3%. So just imagine, like, these really small loans, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, that have $1,000, underwriting fee. They're blowing high cost tests. You can't get them closed. So it's
I
crazy.
didn't know that.
Yeah. Those smaller loan amounts, I have had so many problems with smaller loan amounts, exceeding the high point threshold, points and fees threshold, just because you can't, there's no way to not, unless
Right.
you do the loan for nothing, and then the underwriter, the lender waives their underwriting fee. You can't, it's very hard to get those small loans done. Very, very hard.
Because you're still doing the same amount of work.
Correct.
But you're not able to cover your costs.
Right. And you're still capped at a percentage of it. So it's 3% of 50,000 versus 3% of, 250,000. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
We've been doing this. We've been doing this, for years on the mortgage side. It's been transparent. I have to disclose my fees. If it's lender paid, it's not on the loan estimate, but it's on the closing disclosure. If it's borrower paid, it's on the loan estimate and the closing disclosure. So I kind of, I think that it's because when you're signing a sales contract, and I see them all the time, I never see like that part of the agreement, whereas it's saying how the agent that I'm working with is getting paid. It never says it on the purchase agreement. But if I was to send a loan estimate out to a client, I mean, of course I can work for a client for a year, and if we don't do a loan and then they go somewhere else because they find an eighth of a percent better rate, I get paid nothing. Right. I cannot charge. It's illegal to charge anything for no services rendered. And so, or just my time. I can't charge for my time. So
wow.
Yeah. You cannot. It's illegal. So when it comes to like disclosure, like it's been transparent for years on the mortgage side of it. And everybody thought it was going to be the moral of my story is I thought it was going to be a really big deal back in the day. I thought it was like the end of the mortgage, and 10 years later, rocking and rolling.
So that's so funny.
Yeah.
I think you just brought up a really good point, because when you write an offer on a house, there is nothing in there. I mean, yes, the agent's names are on there and their brokerage, but beyond that, there is nothing on there about buyer agency or any kind of agency co-op fees or anything like that. Any information that you provide to the buyers, it doesn't disclose any fees to the real estate professionals on the deals. So unless basically what I'm trying to say is that the only time that I really go into fees and what that looks like is when I'm going through a seller net sheet with my clients. Like, okay, and that's just like we're projecting what, if we sell at X price, assuming that your costs are going to be here, this is what you're going to net. And my fees are in here. And I show a breakout fee of what you're going to offer me and what I recommend we offer a buyer agency.
Right.
So I do think that it needs to come up more often and in different places.
You know, it's like a double-edged sword. I see this could be good, but I also see that this can be potentially bad, because now that everyone's going to be able to see, and sorry I keep looking because Zoe's just hopping around over here. I just feel so bad for her. You can kind of see her in the background now. She's been laying down for like 4 days straight. She's just over it. Yeah. So if like you can't come to terms on a sales price, I think there's probably going to be more questions like, wait, why can't you lower your fees to make this thing work? Or, you know, like I said, this got a lot of good to it, but could potentially have some negative consequence, just like everything.
Yeah,
you know, everything's, you know, but it may take some getting used to, you know, to kind of whatever does kind of come out in the wash about what the actual law is going to be. But I think it's going to take some getting used to, but there's some potential good and bad from it.
I think it's going to weed out the strong agents, the ones that provide a lot of value to their clients, from those agents that maybe don't do that as well. Because at the end of the day, right, if you are providing the top-notch value, service, everything to your clients, and you're representing them as a professional should in this industry, you're going to have a lot less pushback.
Right.
And yes, there's always the clients that are going to ask for discounts, ask for this or ask for that. But it's my job to convey my value so that that's not even an issue. Right.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to be said. I mean, you bring up a good point now when this whole, the industry collapse, and after, the housing freaking collapse and all that, and they put the SAFE Act in play. I had so many people coming to me like saying, well, mortgage brokers, they're not going to, they're going to be a dying breed. They're not going to last. They're getting pushed out by big banks, and people wanting me to come under their umbrella. And I was just like, no, I just feel like this is going to weed out the bad guys, and a higher echelon of mortgage brokers are going to kind of surface with this and kind of ride this. And that's, I've stuck with that. I've always been a big broker advocate. I mean, we've talked about that.
Yeah.
And it's something that's it's in my blood now. So yeah. I just think, and honestly, if there were only banks no mortgage brokers, no mortgage bankers, just banks, you would see in this crazy time that we're in right now, you would see 6 to 9 month closings. Because I mean, 1000%, because we're helping facilitate, purchases, refinances, taking pressure off the, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, the mortgage brokers are good. Always good.
And there's arguments to both sides of the spectrum. And I always like to say, listen, I mean, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, right? Just like you're not either. And we are okay with that, right?
Right. Right.
And so I always encourage consumers, if you're in the market, if you're shopping, agents, if you want to sell your house, whatever, that you just ask a lot of questions, you understand how people are getting paid and what is expected of you. Always.
Right. So, yeah, my 3 common questions are: what's my rate? How much do I have to bring to closing? And what's my mortgage payment? If I can beat those 3 objectives, if anybody else doesn't, then I got the deal.
Yes.
So yeah. It's literally broken down into those 3 questions. It's really that.
Yes.
And And so, you're right. Sometimes I'm not everybody's, sometimes my rates won't be the best, or sometimes they're going to be great. Sometimes they're not going to be so great, there's just so much that goes into it. So yeah, I mean, if we're not just a good fit character wise, it's
right.
I remember I had this client, it was a jumbo refi. They this is a referral from a financial advisor. They didn't believe anything I said. They believed nothing. They didn't believe the credit scores I told them I pulled. They didn't believe, the guidelines. They just didn't believe anything. And I told her, I said, look, I said, I'm not sure what's happened to you before in the past. I said, but this is I was like, I don't think we're a good fit. Maybe you should go. She's like, you really don't want to, try to do this refinance for us? And I was like, no. I was like, unfortunately, I just don't think we're the best fit. Right. I was like, this is not the way that I operate. So, and sometimes you have to make those choices. That would have been a really nice paycheck, commission for me, but I'm not going to have I'll do everything I can not to have I'm not going to just try to get a commission check and have a bad review.
Right.
Or,
and try to force
a bad experience.
Right.
Correct. Right.
Because that's not worth it. Anybody.
It's not worth it. No.
And it's not
for you,
it's not
for me.
It's not about them asking questions. It was probably just like you feeling like it didn't matter what you said or how the information you provided, nothing was going to make them happy. And that is a scary place to be in with somebody.
Right. Because you're never going to, and it was going to be that way throughout the whole loan process. Because I had to, tell them what I thought the appraisal was going to come in. I was like, I don't know what the appraisal is going to come in at. It could come in. This is the range that I see. If it's this range, it's going to be this. And if it's this range, it's going to be that. And they're like, well, I need you to tell me for sure. I'm like, I can't tell you. I can't tell you for sure. They wanted the number to the appraiser. And I'm like, I can't give you, I don't know the number to the appraiser. Like, it was one after another. After I was like, okay. I was like, you guys are great. I was like, we're just not the most compatible. We're not going to be the best fit for you.
Sometimes I find too, like with different people, the communication styles, it just doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't matter how you communicate.
Right.
Like they're never going to get it, and vice versa. Like
1000%.
It's like there's like something missing in the matrix.
Yeah, for sure. Like some clients you click with, you're jiving with, and then others it's just like. Whew.
I know. You're like, I feel like, I don't know how else to do this.
Right. Yeah, no, 100%. 100%.
But that's the good thing. There are a lot of really great agents that if I'm not a good fit, if I want to refer you to somebody, if you want to take a pick of somebody else, I always encourage my clients, obviously up front and, when we're getting to know each other.
Right. That's
like one of the things that we talk about is, are we a good fit? Here's how I operate. Let me know how you expect to be,
Yeah, what are your expectations? Yeah. Right, exactly. Yeah, just kind of let everything out from the get-go. Yeah. And then there's, but on the flip side of that coin is, and I know you have had like clients that seem to be, they're just, something happens and they are unhappy, but then you turn it around and then they're like your besties, because you made something work or so. I mean, I do love a challenge when it comes
So. And I feel like, I do a good job of finding some challenges for us.
No.
Just something to really test our skills.
No. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So, well, what are you doing for Thanksgiving?
So we are going up to Kendall's sister's place for the day. And did you hear, if I'm not mistaken, the governor's mandate on wearing masks inside the home?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, here's the deal. When I am working, I am always wearing a mask, right? Right. I think it's going to be interesting. There you go.
We should be wearing a mask right now, Ashley. actually.
We should. I don't even know where my mask is right now.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are you doing?
We actually, and I know that this is, I'm like scared to say it, we are going to my mom's house in Kentucky.
Oh, wow. Are you guys flying?
No, we're driving, and we go every year.
Okay.
And I got a COVID test done a few days ago. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, because I'm just so paranoid.
No, that's agreed.
And like 2 weeks ago, as of tomorrow, I was in Arizona, right? And so I just like wanted to be sure. And so I haven't displayed any symptoms, but on Friday I went to go get a test done, and it came back negative. I got my results yesterday. But I was just scared. Like I want to do everything I can to be safe, and
right.
So I think it's to each is their own, and I think it's just going to be, this year has been hard for everybody, and I think you just have to try to do the best that you can do and be thankful that you are breathing, I guess.
I got you. Did it hurt?
Yeah, I was upset.
Did.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all. And like, I'm a rule follower. And so like they send you all these different like things that you have to make sure that you do, and like you gotta have gloves on and your mask on. And I did it in the car. I did it through a drive-through at the CVS pharmacy, and they give you all your stuff in a little plastic bag, and then you gotta get the hand wipes out with your mask on. You gotta show them your confirmation code. You gotta give them your driver's license. I'm like, okay, here are all the things. And so then as she's watching me, she's in her little station in the pharmacy. I'm in my car. She shows me how to do it, sticking it up my own nose. And I'm just like, I don't like this. And I thought they were going to be doing it. So I guess I'm glad that I did it, but I was also like scared I wasn't doing it right.
Yeah.
Tears are just like coming down the sides of my eyes. I'm like, can I take it out yet?
Oh man. Wow. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Glad it's negative.
Yeah, me too. So that's one less thing.
Right.
But the test results came back pretty quick, and I scheduled it online, and it did. So like I scheduled it on a Wednesday, and the first available date they had was a Friday. So like there was a little bit of a lag time there.
But I think by now, because everything's probably ramping up because of the holidays, everybody's want to get tested before they got out. Yeah.
So I just, I just like struggle with it, because I'm like, I'm a rule follower, and like I don't want anyone to be like, wow, she's being so like reckless out there, and like without a mask, and like out in the open. But
oh man.
So that's what's up. But it's gonna be small. It's always small, with just like my sister and my mom and my stepdad and my husband. So it's like, it's not like we're having 50 people or anything.
Right. Well, good. Crazy. Good. That should be a good time. When are you leaving?
We are leaving tomorrow.
Nice.
Yep. Hitting the Dusty Trail. So.
Yeah, this, I don't know about you. It's always like crickets in the office. Like the phone's not ringing, it's like we're just working on the stuff that it's currently in, because people don't want to do, much this week. And it's usually, Monday. And I even told Morgan, I was like, it's going to be real quiet this week. I'll be willing to bet you like 1,000. That's going to be like real quiet. And it's been real quiet. We've gotten caught up on a lot of stuff.
Right.
So,
kind of nice. After the year we've had.
Yeah, it is. And I'm renewing my licenses right now too, finishing up my CE. So it's, it's time.
Taking a breath.
It's time, take a breath. And then back to it, so.
Yeah. Well, awesome.
Yes, well, I don't know. I'd like to try to see if how do you think we could get some more like audience participation? Like do like a Q&A with some people? What do you think?
Yeah,
I was kind of saying
a Q&A. I think maybe we do a giveaway or something.
Okay.
And I don't know, tie it to this somehow, like, you know,
we can think about it.
Yeah, we'll brainstorm that.
We'll brainstorm that.
If anyone has any suggestions,
yes,
let us know.
please. And if you have anything to ask, please feel free to comment. I mean, thanks so much for everybody for joining and all that good stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I think this was good, and we'll be back at it again next week. Hopefully, a little bit fuller. Maybe not.
Yeah,
I don't think
we got a couple LBs onto us. But yes, have a very, very happy Thanksgiving. Safe travels, and to everybody else out there as well. Safe travels and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.